He's done it all. Hundreds of skydives, traveled the world, army, police work, intelligence work, and prison. Now he's an author and a biker with an axe to grind. He's Dennis M. Young. Okay, chapter 14, biting chicken heads, murdering goats. So at this point, I'm just in the army. I'm in basic training. This is 1983 or maybe 4. Not sure because it went over Christmas during my training. Another great attribute of a soldier that our drill instructors loved to see was a rising violent spirit. It gave them a sense of accomplishment to see a long-haired hippie turn into a kill-on-command robot. We practiced platoon-level advanced to contract drills in the training area. This required a platoon, about 40 soldiers, to move in an offensive formation on foot until they could touch the enemy with a bayonet. Time after time, we came under mock fire and reacted as we had been trained. We supported each other and suppressed enemy fire with blank ammunition as we moved forward for the kill. The role of the infantry is to close with and destroy the enemy. No long-distance love from us. We had been attacking all week from dawn until dusk and living in tents. It was fire, move, get up and run, get down before you're shot. We were way past the point of exhaustion. Fatigue can often cause a breakdown in discipline. When people get the impression that no situation is worse than the one they're in, they're more inclined to say and do whatever they want. They get a sense of freedom from being overly oppressed. We had stopped for lunch and the sergeant announced that chicken was on the menu. He opened up the back of the Chevy pickup and let 50 live chickens scramble all over the training area. "You've got 5 minutes to catch a fucking chicken and get back here," the sergeant screamed. "After 5 minutes, the rest of the platoon will do push-ups while they wait for you slow, timid bastards." After 20 minutes of pandemonium, frustration, exasperation, everyone had caught their chicken and stood before the sergeant. "Now put your right hand under the beak and your left hand at the bottom of the neck and bite down in the middle. Then take your right hand, put it by your left, and push down on the chicken's shoulders with its neck still clamped in your teeth, decapitate it." We weren't allowed to let go of the chicken after executing it. We held it by its feet while it flailed around and spewed blood all over us. We gutted, skinned, and cooked it like a wiener on a stick. Rotating my chicken over the open flame cooked it quite evenly. I ate each part as it was cooked until the chicken was bare bones. It was just as good as Colonel Sanders, but it wasn't as efficient, and I didn't smoke reefer before tearing into it. Yeah, that goes back to a previous story that I'm not reading. After lunch, we judged the soldiers with blood on them as being hardcore. 3 or 4 guys couldn't kill their chicken. They lacked the mean spirit that was required to rip a bird's head off. Why would someone join the army and insist on being humane? It'd be like going into government and insisting on being efficient. The whole system would be against you. Still, the army had a rule that soldiers must have the opportunity to eat. The unblooded were given a salad and pegged as non-killers, which is to say, incompetent. The sergeant philosophized for us as we ate. "Man must kill to eat," he said. "People who only eat salads are just too lazy or cowardly to eat something that runs away. Killers of lettuce believe that they have the moral high ground because the lettuce doesn't bleed or scream. Lettuce is a life form. It would rather live than die. Eat it and you are a depriver of life, a violent killer. We all count on murder to survive. Accept that or starve to death." I had been called so many names in the past that they'd stopped feeling offensive, but the thought of someone accusing me of being anything other than a hardcore killer in such an environment was horrifying. Running the risk of not being accepted was not a prudent route. At the end of that week, while we still were conducting advanced to contact drills in an open field, we came under fire from a designated enemy who popped blank ammunition at us from a wooded area. We initiated our routine of advance to contact. We poured rapid automatic weapons fire onto our objective from a fixed site to pin down the enemy. The rest of us went around for a flanking assault. We got pretty close to the source of the enemy fire when the sergeant issued the standard order to fix bayonets. We attached the bayonets to our rifles and moved into the tree line. There we observed a goat tethered to a spike in the ground. It was pretty scared. It had reason to be. Our collective sense of wonder was interrupted by the sergeant's scream for action. On my command to charge, the platoon will form a fucking gaggle and kill the enemy goat with severe prejudice. Was he serious? The chicken incident had proven that the army never joked about killing. Aggression only escalated until there was nothing left to be aggressive to. Some soldiers ran toward the goat faster than others. I was one of the lead elements of the attack as we plunged our bayonets into the side of the helpless animal. It began screeching and kicking as it fell on its side. The goat kicked one soldier in the knee and he went down in pain while trying not to scream. Losing a good man just made us more angry and determined. Not to the point where anyone wanted to help the injured man. We just intensified the effort to kill the goat. Beware. Resistance to power will aggravate it, much like hitting a hornet's nest. The goat raised its head and looked me right in the eyes. Its tongue was hanging out. My response was to stab it again and again. The true embracers of the program had proven ourselves and were ordered out of the mayhem. The focus then passed to the 4 unblooded troops from the chicken event. We all had the impression that this was their last chance to demonstrate their killer instinct. The goat had ceased screeching and kicking and was just lying there praying for mercy. It didn't get any. The 4 soldiers moved in as they were screamed at. 3 of them made a few tepid pokes into the goat. Unbelievably, the goat had sustained a prolonged murderous attack and was still alive, but we weren't finished. Scarletti had yet to stab it. Scarletti, you fucking pussy, you finish off that disease-ridden bastard or you can go home and stay with your mommy, the sergeant screamed. Scarletti had already been in shit for not being able to do a chin-up and refusing to bite his chicken's head off. This was the last straw. Scarletti didn't buy into the system of demonizing the adversary before attacking it. If you don't buy into the rhetoric phase, you're not going to buy into the violence phase. He was fatigued and had no respect for the Army program and was still in shock from seeing the demise of her belated feathered victims. Scarletti had little to lose. Disease-ridden, Scarletti had the audacity to ask a question while in the heat of battle. It was a clean, healthy young animal. The sergeant was beside himself. You gutless little coward, I order you to kill and you will kill. It was people like you who made Italy lose World War II so many times. It was people like me who refused to fight for a mindless dictator, Scarletti retorted. We had never dreamed that anyone would argue with the sergeant, who took Scarletti's resistance as an attack on his credibility. Okay, Scarletti, my inclination is to replace the goat with you, but we'll play it this way. Everyone except Scarletti will grab his rucksack, and instead of sleeping tonight, we're going for a walk. A long, long walk. And if that goat dies without your help, we're going to find another goat. And we're going to walk until the goat is dead by your hand. But get me straight on one thing, Scarletti. This platoon will be walking until the second goat is murdered by you or dies of old age. Or you can kill this goat and the platoon will drink a few cold ones tonight. The whole platoon exuded a murderous rage and glared at Scarletti. Peer pressure, or culture, is far more powerful than top-down force. Is that an order, Sergeant? Scarletti hoped that some legal process would preclude the sergeant from forcing him to kill the animal. Everything I say is a fucking order, Scarletti. With his attempt to thwart the proceedings exhausted, Scarletti succumbed to the pressure and pushed the tip of his bayonet into the dying goat. It didn't even respond. A few seconds later, the goat raised his head and looked Scarletti in the eyes. Then it relaxed, lowered its head, and died. It was like the goat was saying, "Et tu, Scarletti?" The following 10 seconds were pregnant with silence until the sergeant finally broke in. Scarletti, you became a blooded killer today. The rest of these ladies roughed the goat up a bit, but you killed it. You are superior to them. You are the first member of Friesenberg platoon to register a kill not meant for consumption. I might just go into camp and note this on your personal file. The next time something needs to be killed, we're going to call you, Scarletti." Scarletti was heartbroken. He was awestruck by the goat's belated plea. Most of us bought into the homicidal mania, but in hindsight, Scarletti was decades ahead of us. Not only did he reject the program, he was already blaming himself for what he did. The sergeant saw how tormented Scarletti was and made an announcement. "In celebration of Scarletti's first kill, everyone gets 2 beers tonight. Scarletti gets 3. Scarletti was deeply saddened. He was a deeply saddened and reluctant hero.